Welcome back to another winter outlook and discussion for today, February the 4th, 2025. We are looking at a major snowstorm for the Northeast and Upper Midwest, and not just one, but potentially three snowstorms on the horizon. With I have all the time out here in this video. So this storm most likely going to be your Wednesday night to Thursday midday across many areas of the Mid Atlantic and parts of the Northeast. Then we have another chance of a snowstorm for Saturday, Friday, and Sunday, somewhere in that time frame, and we could be looking at a little bit even colder air and more of a heavy dumping of snow. Then we go into the next week, and there are some hints now of a third, but more major snowstorm for all the areas that we are going to be talking about in these first two systems. So, the first two systems are the ones with the ice. Here it is on my maps here. So, this is my thumbnail in this video. And there it is. Storm number one, and then storm number two. Major ice storm portions of Pennsylvania, upstate New York, Massachusetts, up into these areas. Probably less as you go up there, and then more of those a rainstorm across the coastal regions with it turning into plain old rain. But we're talking about at least up to 5 to 8 inches or so, 3 to 5 inches of snow across the upper Midwest where they are in dire need of some snow. Then the heavy rain and the heavy mountain snow continues. There is some reports up to 20 inches of heavy rain across California. And then snowfall totals up to 9 feet of snow. So just imagine being in those mountains, living up in those mountains, and getting 9 feet of snow in like 3 days. That is a lot of snow. You have to have like 5 inches an hour for like 3 days to even get close to even 5 feet. So a lot of snow and a lot to talk about. This is my projected map right here. This is going to be a thumbnail for tomorrow I'm going to use. But this is a pretty much a wrap up of what I'm thinking for this storm. So 3 to 5 inches in the upper Midwest parts into the Great Lakes. Then in the pink ice storm, a quarter to a half an inch of ice in the pink. And then you can tell there's this purple / blue shading here. 1 to 3 inches of snow or so with up to a tenth to a quarter inch of ice. Why is the ice a little bit less? That's because you see more sleet and snow. The storm track through the Appalachian Mountains into the Maryland area and then off the coast. So we're going to be taking a look at all these models right here, starting with the HRRR. So the HRRR is a little bit snow bias here. I feel like it's a little bit on the snow bias. I don't know why, but it's been pretty consistent here on more of a snowier solution. We're going to have to keep a track of that. There has been some hints of more of a frontal end snow, means a dumping of heavier snow. And that's why I wouldn't be surprised maybe I up those totals to 2 to 4 inches tomorrow. But right now, I say a solid 1 to 3 across eastern and northern Pennsylvania and western and northern New Jersey into the upstate New York, southern New York, into Connecticut and Massachusetts. And then you go back into central Pennsylvania in Allentown and back closer to Pittsburgh. You're expecting a quarter to a half of inch of ice. Okay, so we take this about. Let's look at the timing here because I know everybody's wondering the timing for this system. And this will be in your morning commute on Thursday and Wednesday nights, okay? So we have the time frame here. We're going to probably, let's take this out. Let's take this about 24 hours, okay? 24 hours on the latest. There will be about 7 p.m. on Wednesday night. So this will be tomorrow night. And you're starting to see some freezing rain some frontal end snow trying to develop with some plain old rain to the south. What do we have going on here? So we got a kind of a coastal low developing mid-level low right here. You see that? Our frontal wave right there. You got this messy short wave right here cutting through. You got cold air. You got that 540 line where it's below 32 all the way down here. Okay. North of this, you're going to have snow. But south of this, you're going to have some of this freezing rain. We go about 30 hours out. And this is about 1 a.m. in the morning on Wednesday. You see it starts snowing midnight hours here across eastern, southern, and western New Jersey and Pennsylvania, okay? You see this blue right here? This is probably some light snow where I'm just marking. Your 540 line is about this line I just showed you. So that makes pretty much sense here, okay? You got sleet and freezing rain back into central and southern western Pennsylvania. Okay, even into Maryland, closer to Washington, D.C. even, and back into the Ohio valleys. Okay? Why does the snow kind of bulges out here? So you go into about 2 a.m., 3 a.m., it's still kind of, that 540 line really starting to make a move here. We have that 540 line now about here. Remember, the 540 line is your 32 degrees or below in the upper atmosphere, okay? So that's where it's probably going to be snowing. You see where all these pinks and purples are? That's probably a wintry mix to a freezing rain, okay? So 32 hours on the HER is about 3 a.m. So this is about 3 a.m. We're dealing with a wintry mix. Weirdly, okay, on the NAM, on the HER, kind of shows snow developing in the morning. We kind of see a snow period develop into central northern Pennsylvania here. Could this happen? That's all depending. It shows a burst of snow, and it's been showing that on the last few runs. And I'm going to have to really watch this in tomorrow. Shows a nice burst of snow on the frontal end. This is sleet and wintry mix. And right here in the dot, it's freezing rain, okay? We take this a little bit further. You see that snow kind of continue for the next few hours. Then finally transition around 8 a.m. Okay, this is about 8 a.m. Your rain line is south of Philly. Okay? You got no rain, plain old rain making it into Philly. That's another possibility, okay? You got now wintry mix kind of starting to take over in the Lehigh Valley. Berks is kind of turning into freezing rain. Northern Mount Poconos turning into a wintry mix. Freezing rain in the paint, in the purple here, is all freezing rain. Light to moderate freezing rain. Then your plain old rain in the green, okay? You got a surface low trying developing off the coast, all right? You go into about 9, 10 o'clock. You see that wintry mix turn into some plain old freezing rain. Remember, freezing rain and rain is different. Rain is just plain old rain. Freezing rain, it freezes on contact on the surface. If we see that heavier burst of snow, we're going to see less of freezing rain. But we do get a few hours of light freezing rain across the northeast here. Okay, and this continues into the afternoon, and then this storm system's out. And our next storm system's already on the way. Total snowfall accumulation with the courage. Yeah, pretty aggressive. I think this is a little overdone here. Shows up anywhere 2 to 4 inches. Okay. It has a solid 2 to 4 inches where I just circled. I don't think that's going to happen as of right now. I can see that a little bit further north, up to 1 to 3. But if that does happen, this will be a wet snow. But if you look at your freezing rain, totals are much more or less. More like 1/10 of an inch of ice. So, it's what you guys prefer, and then you see that wintry mix. This case is actually a little bit better, because it means less ice. But I'm not buying the HER yet. We got the new NAM coming out. Okay. We're going to have to see. This is about 25. It's not even there yet. So we're going to have to wait and see. But I know the new Euro is coming out. Okay. We're just really looking at the models right now because it's very important. This is the latest Euro. And this is a little bit more important. Okay. This is 4 a.m. I think it's probably going to start a little sooner. Okay. But 7 a.m. and we got a burst of snow in eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and even New York could start out with some snow. We will see this transition into a wintry mix. Remember, wintry mix is about this line of purple right here, but it still shows a lot of freezing rain where I just marked the X, okay? I think the Euro's onto something. I think that's more of a better solution, but we could see that. We go into the 10 a.m. hour. If you guys are along the Berks County, the I-78 corridor on north, you're seeing freezing rain, and then north of the Mount Poconos, northern Pennsylvania into New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, or Rhode Island, you're seeing that snow, okay? This will move out by the afternoon with some leftover freezing rain or just plain old rain showers. Snow into Massachusetts, maybe another 2 to 4 inches up there. And then that storm system's out. Then we're looking into Saturday. Okay. We start seeing the precip coming in for 4 p.m. This is about 7 p.m. on Saturday. You see a frontal end snow changes into a wintry mix and then a plain old freezing rain setup. Little stronger low means a little bit more of a freezing rain. But you see a consistent freezing rainstorm, once again, a little bit in the northern Pennsylvania area, okay? So, that's storm number 2. And then we're going to have to see what happens with storm number 3. But that's the latest on the Euro. But we look at 36 hours, all right? This is 1 a.m. 1 a.m. on the NAM. Shows the snow, too, all right? Pretty consistent on that. But it changes over by like 8 a.m., okay? You get a few hours of a dumping snow, light to moderate snow, for a few hours. And then it gets into that wintry mix. And then a heavier wintry mix. Remember, wintry mix is freezing rain, snow, and sleet. So it's all 3 of them. So really messy Thursday morning commute. And then it changes to all freezing rain in all the purple. You can see on the NAM there, never changes back. You still have some leftover around the afternoon. So, on the 18Z, you see more of a less of a snow. You see out to a coating to an inch or 2 across northern the Pennsylvania area. Total snow accumulations on here, maybe a little bit more. And then you see that freezing rain. Alright. And then you see that freezing rain being more aggressive. Okay. You see more of a half an inch of ice. I think this is probably a little bit off. But that showed a half an inch of ice right there. Okay. We're waiting for the newest model run out of the Zerzy. It's quickly coming in. But we're at 27 hours out. What do I notice already a little bit different? Precip shields a little bit more south. Alright, a little bit more interesting. Maybe we see more of a frontal end snow. That's could be a big trending too. Because I'm noticing on the models there too. Okay. You look at this. I want to take a look at the 18Z. No, it doesn't show. Huh. Interesting. So, Euro is actually kind of interesting here. Okay. So, according to Euro, actually dumps snow here up to 2 to 4 inches in many spots in that frontal end. That's a little bit interesting, but the ice here is probably still aggressive too. So I'm right now saying 1 to 3 inches of snow and sleet where my map is in that blue and purple. But there are some hints that in the latest runs, remember, this will be all updated tomorrow. Maybe a little bit more of a frontal end snow. That'll be wet snow. Remember. We're waiting for some of the newer runs to come out on the NAM. But let's take a look at the newest wrap model. Okay, this is another model we like to take a look at. This is Into the Morning. We watch that. Frontal end snow. Okay, so that's a little bit more of a consistency now we're seeing in the latest runs, where we actually see a thumping of snow. That is becoming a little bit more interesting in my eyes, because from the 15Z to this, 15Z had a solid 3 to, up to even 5 inches, okay? Latest 21Z has a solid thumping of snow, okay? You get a solid 3-4 inches of wet snow here, of a thumping of snow. That is becoming a little bit more interesting, okay? And then freezing rain accumulations, still actually there. A little bit less, more like a 10 to 2 tenths, but a little bit more on the last impact. So maybe trending a little bit less on the ice. We're still in the watching of that. But I'm not taking the eye off the ball. NAM is at 30 hours out. We look at last run a little bit more south. So maybe we see more of a frontal end snow. Another thing I do see on the HER model here is the temperatures and gradients too. Temperatures really doesn't warm up. This is at 41 hours here. And this is still ice here. Still freezing rain. This temperature in the spot is easily 29 degrees Fahrenheit. So, could be a very icy and snowy Thursday. Okay? And I really don't see that temperature rebound. You get up to the 50s in southern Pennsylvania. Okay? In the 40s. But there is potentially enough cold air to keep you below 32 nearly the entire system. Maybe a few hours where you're in 33, 34 across eastern Pennsylvania. But with the latest models, has trended snowier and colder. But there's still that ice potential, okay? Very, very important, okay? That's why I am not throwing the game off the ball, okay? We still got all day tomorrow to track this. But what I can see is, latest run on the NAM kind of shows that thumping of snow a little bit more south. How much snow do you get out of that? I don't know. A little bit more of that precise snow. GFS is, let's look at their model. GFS shows that frontal end snow. And then, yeah, it does show this frontal end snow developing. And one thing I will say, remember in these storms, these frontal genesis storms, okay? You get a heavy, wherever that mixing line is, you get a heavy period of snow, okay? That's going to be interesting, okay? It's just very interesting to me what I'm seeing. Never kind of changes, even on the latest GFS. Keeps it all ice here. Just a little bit more of a colder. dynamic pressures. Okay. I heard something about surface mayor lightning lid. Okay, I want to look at something quickly. I heard some things of thunder ice. Okay, in the weather community here in the last little bit. I'm looking at convection. Okay, mass lightning. Mass conversion. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'm just going crazy. Or is it in this? The lightning density. Okay, maybe I'm just going crazy here. Okay. Never mind, you guys. It must have been on a different website someone used. I was just wondering about it. Let's take you to the zero. Alright, we're a little bit more. Look at that temperature. It really struggles to warm. We can get cold enough. Wow, look at the NAM really popping off that ice. I mean, we see that wintry mix, but seeing actually from last run to this run, there's more of freezing rain. That's interesting here, you guys. Kind of shows less of a snow on the latest 0Z. And that freezing rain is getting a little more worried. Because now we're seeing more of a consistent 3/4 of an inch of ice. So, basically what we need to figure out is tomorrow is to her right with showing the higher snowfall totals? Are these other models hinting on something? Or is the NAM going to end up being right? What I've noticed in the last few runs with the NAM is showing still the same thinking what I'm thinking. 1 to 3 inches of snow, burst of snow, but then it changes to wintry mix and then freezing rain. Only thing is that I'm not liking is I'm noticing more and more freezing rain, and it's becoming more consistent on the latest runs here since 12Z2. Okay, we look at freezing rain accumulations at 12Z. I mean, it's always been pretty bullish, up to 3/10 of an inch on the 12Z. 18Z, showing up to over a half an inch of ice. I think NAM might be a little overdone on that. But the latest here is showing a solid almost half an inch of ice still. So, what do we see? Whoa! Wow, the NAM. Wow, that's nasty. Wow, the NAM really hammers the ice. That's really nasty, you guys. If this NAM plays out, we're going to have upgrades to these winter weather advisories. The NAM really pops this ice. I mean, you're looking at widespread quarter-inch plus of ice. That is ice storm right there. So, question is the NAM right on what they're seeing, more ice? Or is the RAP and her seeing their rights? Is more of a frontal end snow and less freezing rain? Okay, there's some differences. I don't know which one to go with. Alright, we have to see more data. But the latest NAM probably showing a little bit more snow. but that freezing rain too is a little bit more hectic. So I don't know, but there's still a little time to think about this. But either way, please prepare. I've been yapping now for the last like 20 minutes at least about this. Okay, there's a lot of question marks on where I want to go here. Okay, Euro probably going aggressive. Okay, we probably can look at some wrap model. The FE3 I did not look at that model actually. That's not even fully out. We still got until tomorrow midnight, so we're about 24 hours away. Okay, our gen model, we're really seeing that. We see a thumping of snow, okay, but then we see that freezing rain. But probably more of a thumping of snow here on the RGen. Yeah, more of a thumping. So there's some differences in the models. GFS, I mean, is the name right or is the her model right? I don't know. But it's a tough call because there's two different outcomes here. So you rather have the snow your outcome because the NAM likes to just crush everyone with a major ice storm. We're talking widespread, almost quarter to a half an inch of ice. Okay? Much more on the aggressive side. But then you go to her, yeah, so much more or less. So there's some differences within the models that we still have to figure it out, okay? I don't know fully yet, but this is my forecast for now. 0 point to a half an inch in this pink is possible. And then 0.10 to 25 inch, and then 1 to 3 inches of snow, okay? And sleet. 3 to 5 inches up here in the blue, an inch of rain in the green, okay? I think that pretty much wraps it up with this update. But, disclaimer, there's another snowstorm on the horizon, okay? We're going to quickly, before I end this, I know I've been streaming, I've been keeping you guys yapping for a little bit. But this ain't the only storm. We see another storm on Saturday. Another thumping of snow in the front one. Maybe this is a little bit more consistent, and then there it is. Massive ice storm in the nighttime, okay? It's a Saturday night into Sunday morning, and we do it all over again. Another ice storm, and then, I don't know, but there's a chance for another snowstorm going into Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Disclaimer. Things are going to change. Okay? But the pattern is about to go off and unsettle. And remember, ice storms are very hard to track. Okay? There's a lot of differences. And I'm not comfortable on saying which model is right. Because I feel like the her and NAM is overdoing it. If anything, probably both of them are overdoing it. And I'll kind of go in the middle. Okay? It's kind of, for me, a middle right now. You kind of see that low develops off the coast, and that will help to bring that colder air. One thing is, do we see any winds? Because winds, oh, that's a little scary. We're going to have probably a little bit of some gustier winds here, too. That's not too good, okay? You're probably going to have, if the NAM is right, coastal low off the coast, and you're going to have some divergence with the cold front. That's going to cause 20-mile-an-hour winds. If you get freezing rain with the NAM, you got a major power issue. Let's just quickly look at the HERS winds, too, because these winds could be a little gusty too. Okay, her still a little bit gusty. I mean, you're still talking 15 to 20 mile an hour winds gust. Okay, pretty strong gusty winds. But that's gonna wrap it up for this one. Hope you guys like and enjoy. I'll have another update tomorrow after work. So probably more of that 9-ish o'clock, 9:30 ish, with the latest and the update. And I probably won't have school on Thursday, so I'll give you guys an update throughout the day. And then Thursday night, depending on everything, we're gonna start talking about Saturday system. Okay, Friday, we're gonna try and make a video in there too on the Saturday system. Then after Saturday, I might try and take a break on Sunday if just depends on this third winter storm. But there might be only 2 days apart with this winter storm because this winter storm is on Thursday, next one's on Saturday night. So not too much wiggle room to take a break. And then after Saturday, you got Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday, 2 days, and then you got another major winter storm possibility. So these next 3 winter storms are in your next 7-day forecast. I'll keep you guys updated. Please stay tuned and please check out this channel for more updates. Thank you guys and have a great rest of your day and nights.